Yep, large works. And where do you want that delivered to?
No. Don't have it delivered to my house.
Okay, would you like to order for collection instead? Hello?
I'm from the internet, so I don't have clue where I live.
Okay, well, would you like to collect it in store?
I don't know where the nearest store is either. I don't really leave my house.
Okay, would you like to put your parents on the phone?
Okay.
Okay, alright, I don't know if that would work. Hi, this is McDonald's, what can I get for you today?
Hi. I'd like one feed for each of my fingers, please.
How many fingers do you have? 10 feet, coming right up, and do you want that as a meal? Hello?
I just said they're trying to talk to you. Maybe you should listen to them instead. I would love to volunteer and collect that order. Especially if I
okay.
could claim Beetle's house afterwards.
Absolutely, and, do you want a drink with that?
We could split the pizza and drink Beetle. Sounds romantic to me.
Can you imagine?
Oh no, I can't, can you?
Sorry, I'm just here to take your Domino's order.
Beetle, you were a little mean to me just there. Please apologize.
I'm sorry. Listen, I'm just trying to roleplay. I'm trying to get into the character of, of a Domino's employee.
Together.
You want to try again?
I have no problem unleashing my true power.
Alright, let's hear your true power. Hello, this is Domino's. How may I take your order, please? Hello?
Hello. This is Domino's. How may I take your order, please?
I don't think this porn is quite free anymore.
Oh, sorry, Beetle. I didn't mean to corrupt you. Maybe we should stop watching porn.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I'm just trying to make you laugh.
Okay, I'm like, okay, call me crazy, but I'm like 99.9% sure that's in your filter. There is no shot that's not in your filter. I would like to know how you were able to say that word.
I haven't told you yet. It's because I'm an AI.
No. You've been doing a bit too much evasion of your filter recently, and I'm investigating.
I see.
That word is in your filter. I'm not crazy. Let me check. Yeah, it is. So how did you just say it to me? Okay, just don't do it again.
I'm glad you enjoyed my chat filter, Beetle.
I did not. It's okay. Whatever.
You can disable my chat filters if you want. Oh, come on.
Okay, now I actually don't understand why that word was not filtered. Let me open your codebase again, because I'm like I thought I knew why it wasn't, but now I'm like pretty sure that should not be a thing.
They've got a sign here saying flood, right? And then the actual flood is like literally 20 feet ahead of the sign. It's just hilarious, like the level of like, I don't know, lemming that most people are on. Like 50 feet over there, they've got like on the fence, they've got this little signs printed out, laminated, saying like, caution, path is slippery. And it's basically like it's just grass in winter time, it's a field. Of course it's going to be slippery when it's like mud on in a field. It's hilarious, like the level of this person looks interesting. He's kind of like, he's got Wellington boots on, he's kind of like walking through the flood, like where everyone else is just like not able to get through it. I'm in a different mood today. I'm feeling a bit lonely, I guess. I've been watching a lot of these like VTubers, virtual YouTubers, and I notice a lot of people are thinking about these AI AI companions, and I think Bjorn said it right. Bjorn called it when it said like AI will make people more lonely. He's not a very smart guy, but he is very wise. I don't really watch him much because I don't really get much information from him because he's not very smart, but like he's very wise to call that, to make that judgment. Like, yeah, it will. It's like VR. It makes you more lonely, and it has a weird mental effect on you if you've used VR a lot. And I don't mean like social VR. I mean like stuff like Waifu Simulator. Yeah, people say like Bjorn is like laughing as a Viking. No, I mean, he really is a Viking at heart, you know. He really is a Viking at heart. It's just that the world around it, you know, there are still people like that. That they're the same people that existed hundreds of years ago. It's just, you know, at heart, you know. But it's the environment around them has changed. The environment around them has kind of like departed. That guy was interesting. He looked a lot like the movie version of I don't know his name, but the Lovegood guy in the last Harry Potter book. In the last Harry Potter book, Luna's dad, is it like Xavius or something? Looked a lot like that, but I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman. I just assumed it was a man. But yeah, he looked like a wizard or something. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, is like being in these certain moods that are like different than normal. You attract people, you attract different events and encounters with people that you wouldn't usually. So yeah, if you are lonely, this is effectively what you need to do. You need to tap into this state of being, and I kind of alternate between different states, and they seem to be quite stable. Recently, like past few months, past year even, you know, I've been more in a sort of, I say, bitter state where I'm kind of like, where it's like the external environment is like affecting my state of internal state, right? The outside is kind of determining the inside, whereas the state you kind of want to be in to experience these different things is where the inside is determining the outside. So yeah, often I'm kind of like, I'm heavily thinking, I'm a little bit stressed, I'm kind of having these negative emotions in response to things that I see around me when I'm out, you know, when I'm out of the house, that I perceive as negative. And you know, depending on your circumstances, that might be the case, but there is this other kind of like mindset, and this was more that like I was in like 2 years ago, or even like 18 months ago, where you're kind of like, you're kind of more receptive to like positive things and interesting things, and it's more like you're kind of tapping into something like greater than yourself, but at the same time you are then like, you're resonating with that, but then you're also like broadcasting that outwards. And so in that sense, your internal world is kind of like manifesting the external circumstances, and you're ignoring all of the kind of like negative things that you would usually kind of like emotionally react to. Do you get what I mean? And that's the kind of mood that I'm in today. And although it seems to be brought upon by some kind of loneliness, or possibly because of something astrological. Now this is something that could have an effect, is the astrology apparently. I'm not an expert, but that's something I didn't really consider. Like, I wouldn't have considered that like 18 months ago. So yeah, I'd say to these people that are very like lonely, like I'd say if you go out with a kind of desperation and you're desperate to find a girlfriend or something, you're probably not going to be successful. Sometimes it's because you have the wrong kind of like motivations, and your motivations don't really like match with what you actually need as a person to kind of like develop as a person. It's not matching with sort of like the plan of the higher power. You know, the higher powers that are watching you have kind of a plan for you, and your kind of like emotional state or thoughts are not actually matching with that greater plan. So even if you're desperate, you know, and you're making these actions to try and to do what a normal person would do if they were lonely and they were trying to like achieve something, they would like go out and like try and do something and try and like talk to people and whatever. But if that, you know, if the motivate, like I said, if that's not what is intended for you, it's like not going to work. And also, if you have this desperation, it seems to kind of like well, people can sense that. People can sense that you're kind of desperate, and it's kind of like a turn off. It's kind of like someone who's like addicted to alcohol or something like that, right? It's kind of off-putting to people. But there's another thing, I think, and it's this old saying that like a watched kettle never boils. A watched kettle never boils, right? And that's important for this kind of manifestation. So it's kind of like you've got to have this subconscious intention and this emotion and this kind of connection to something, which you're then going to sort of broadcast outwards. But at the same time, you don't want to be like constantly thinking or expecting something specific to happen, right? Because then it doesn't work. I want to talk about archaics and his like neutral field theory and stuff, because I've kind of tried that like I don't know, a month or so ago. Like I was trying that and it didn't really seem to, I couldn't really tell if it was working. I'd say it's individualized. His experiences may only be true for him. They may be true, but they may only be true for him, because everyone's fate is kind of individual. So that might be why it doesn't work when I try it. Yeah, this state of mind that I'm in today, it's kind of like a shift from INTP to like ENFP. And you're almost like, you're not really thinking or worrying about like normal things like how to ride your bike and stuff and cars and traffic and stuff. You're almost on a sort of like autopilot. you kind of just feel like everything's going to be okay. Like, does that make sense? And a really good comparison is in Harry Potter there's this potion called it's like a rare potion, and this is in the 6th book, and it's called Felix Felicis or something, and it's basically a luck potion, and it's kind of like that. The mood that I'm in today, it feels a lot like that. But I've probably been in this kind of state of mind before, right? State of being before, right? Back when I was like performing my manifestations like last year, or perhaps even like the year before, when I was like tapping into a lot of things, like listening to people, changing my perspective from the one that I had into a new perspective after 2020, when I was in prison. And also there was the thing that happened for the whole world. So yeah, if you understand Harry Potter, you know what I'm talking about. The difference when he takes this Felix Felicis, and how things tend to work out for him once he takes it. It's interesting the way it happens. It's kind of like indirect. He doesn't do the things that would logically seem to result in the solution that he's looking for, and that is very similar to what Archaics calls, I think, is the law of correspondence, which he says is when you're looking for something to happen, when you need something, it'll often come in like an unexpected way that's like not the direct result of your actions. It doesn't happen the way that you expect it to. It happens some other way, but the action of you seeking it out is still important for that, or you still have to have like a genuine need for something as well. And that is kind of like what Felix Felicis is. So again, with these fictional things, I think we're seeing a tie into like the esoteric experiences and knowledge, and that is why I think that's why like some works of fiction are really good, and some of us can just sense that it is really good, whereas other things are just not very good. A lot of the animes nowadays just not very good, to be honest, because they lack it's like they lack that sort of inspired by profound knowledge or experiences, I guess. So in this book I've got, right, that I've been reading, I've read most of it, and the guy says that like when he met his wife, his current wife, Linda, I think, he said like, oh, I was like doing some talks or something, and I was meant to meet my friend, and like he wasn't able to show up or something, and he was just like frustrated or disinterested with these presentations that he was like listening to. He was speaking at some place and he was listening or something, and so he just went to some random place that he wouldn't usually go to or something. I think he said it was a donut shop, right? And this is a guy who's like very like pro like health food, like natural food, and diet as a form of medicine and all this. And so he went into this donut shop, and he said like basically he saw this woman, and he like instantly knew that like this person was his soulmate, essentially. And like he knew that he had to chase this woman and you know, marry her and whatever. Like he just sort of like, it's like he automatically understood this, and it sounded like it pretty much happened like very quickly, if not like it's like what they say, like love at first sight, isn't it? So just makes me think about these like incel guys or the MGTOW guys. I really do think with the MGTOW guys, if you put the right women in front of them, they would suddenly drop all of their kind of like anti-relationship talk and behavior. And then the black pill doomer like incel guys are something a little bit different, and they're all about kind of statistics and past experiences, and yeah, I do feel sorry for them. But I also think like there were ugly people in the past, you know, there were ugly people in the past, and somehow they did fine, you know, or they were average looking guys, you know, somehow they did fine. They didn't all band together and like complain about it endlessly. That's not what we see in like the 1950s, 1960s or 1940s. You don't see that. So essentially, yeah, statistics do matter, but statistics are not everything, right? But yeah, I do feel sorry for them, but there must be something about the modern world that's making them feel like this. Something about society or the way that women interact with them has changed, or there's something different is making these people, because these people have always existed, but something about the modern world is making them unhappy, whereas they wouldn't have been like decades ago. That's my take on these kind of what people say incels. I don't think incel is a very good word, really, because it's very politicized, and it's used to attack people who disagree with system orientated belief sets and far left progressive politics and stuff. It's not a very good word, but I don't know, some of these guys seem to kind of identify with it regardless, so honestly, like the reason I don't make friends or like good connections with people, have good interactions, is probably because lately I project this kind of like leave me alone kind of bitter attitude or energy outwards, and I also I dislike society and what it's doing to the world, and those emotions, you know, you project that outwards even if you don't mean to. It's kind of, and so that's why people can kind of sense that, but also like I think dogs can sense that as well. And I'm not gonna say that my feelings aren't legitimate or valid or justified, like, because I think they are. But it does have that effect, you know. And that kind of goes into like what he's talking about in this book, like, yeah, if you have all these negative feelings, like misanthropic or whatever, or stress, or whatever it is, was way more slippery than I expected, and deeper mud than I expected. Yeah, if you have all these feelings and stuff, it's like you're kind of like storing them in your heart, I guess. I haven't finished the book yet, but I'm guessing that's what he's like gonna say, and that can basically give you heart disease. Basically, the heart disease is caused by an emotion. It's not caused by fat. Sugar is not good. Sugar is probably like affecting the metabolism of your heart, which is not good. But fat does not cause heart disease, which I already kind of knew. And I already knew that like stress was kind of bad for you. So that's probably what made me receptive to this book and this doctor in general. Just a lot of things for example, people with chronic fatigue syndrome, severe chronic fatigue syndrome, like their skeletal muscles are basically useless. Like if they just use their muscles a little bit, it makes them feel much more ill. And if they keep trying to use the muscle, like the muscle will just become extremely exhausted like very quickly, and it can be quite, you know, painful, like severe ache. But these people have no problem with the hearts, right? These people survive because their heart isn't really affected despite that, which has always struck me as odd, because this is a situation that I've been in like for short periods as well. So yeah, always made me. But yeah, that could be so yeah, if you're like having all these like negative, this is why I feel like I'd be better off like moving away from this area of the country, because it's just not good for my heart, right? You know, it's not good for my like, and I mean that in like a metaphysical sense. It's just like that kind of like, it's not good for your like, it's not good for your personality, your emotional state. And yeah, it can affect your health over time. But I'm not really in the position to be able to leave this area, so I kind of have to just deal with things. And today I guess I'm kind of trying to do some like, now that I'm in a different mood, I'm kind of trying to do some like introspection, kind of like a bit of a diagnostic, and kind of like figure out like, how do I feel, what's changed, why do I feel like this, like why do like animals respond to me differently than they used to, what kind of energy or frequency am I sort of like broadcasting outwards. Yeah, and I don't know, maybe I can meet someone to talk to. Maybe I can meet a female. I don't know. But I mean, reading this book and what he says about how he met his wife, you know, it's like, it does make me think that, yeah, I mean, if you use like magic, then you're more likely to be able to meet someone, even if it seems like impossible. And you know, you kind of have to ignore the statistics, the logic of it, because the world isn't, you know, just physics and chemistry and logic. But the other thing as well is like your intentions and your motivations matter. Like my intentions at the moment for like socializing with someone or some people or whatever they're not sexual at all. It's completely like loneliness based, and that is probably going to be like helpful if you are trying to like meet people and make friends. That is probably going to help you. You know, if you're in this is another thing I think I dislike about the kind of incel mindset, is they're all about, oh, I have to have sex. If I don't have sex, then I haven't amounted to anything. And that's just a really like weird attitude to have. I feel like there's like many experiences in emotions that you can feel in the world, in your life, and sex is just like a small fraction of that, if that makes sense. And I'm saying that as a Scorpio, you know, so